Hi everyone, it's Beth here again. It's time to finish off our little rabbits. Today we're going to need our felt tip pens, so shades of brown. I've got 3 shades brown. You can use whatever you have. So if you've only got one, that's not a problem at all. Just use what you've got. Also, we're going to use some water and a paintbrush. Again, if you haven't got a paintbrush, just use what you've got to hand. So you can use a cotton wool bird or a sponge or even your finger. So if you've got everything ready, we will make a start. Okay, so what I'm going to do first of all is I've got my lightest shade of brown and I'm just going to do sort of a base layer. I'm going to build up the shades. So again, we are just going to do some little furry lines. So working up the ear. Remember, we talked about little flicky lines before. So we're doing the same thing. So we're not colouring in, it's just like little lines. And we're just working over our pencil lines a little bit around the ear. Again, I'll do both ears first. We'll work down the rabbit. So just little lines, working along. We're going to build this up. So I always start with light first and then we get darker. So I've got this lovely sort of light brown, almost yellow ochre-y, and I'm going to just work on the head. I'm going to open up my lines, so not quite as many now because we want it to be light here. And so where it's darker, I do my lines closer together to get it a little bit darker, and then where it's lighter, you do less lines. Okay, so round the eyes, I'm going to flick a couple in the eyelashes. So round the eyes was quite dark, if you remember. So we're going to put our lines quite close together. Follow the shape, if you can, with your lines as well. So not just little scribbles, working down the face in the same direction as the fur would grow on the face. And again, you can just break out of that outline a little bit. So here we go, so down the side, not doing anything here just yet, because again we want that nice and light and it makes it look like it's standing out a bit more. And down the body, slightly bigger, maybe down the body, the lines, darker under the chin again. Maybe you could colour it in a little bit here if you wanted to, just to get it a bit darker. Remember we sort of did it on a slant, so almost like a triangle, just here and down this edge. Coming out the edge a little bit, and then just a few down there. Also, I am going to just outline, so just go over the pencil mark where our nose was, down that line, and on the mouth a little bit. We can put our little dots in as well, just like that. Okay, so that's the base layer with my lightest brown. I'm going to move up a shade now. So I've got 3 shades. So I've got a medium and then I've got a dark. So with the medium now, where the dark bits are, I'm going to start adding my medium shade. So around the base of the ears, base of this ear, up the ear a little bit, just scatter a little bit of this dark brown in. So we're going up in layers, so now we've got layers of different shades. So a little bit on this side. Again, we still want to see some of that pencil lines coming through, and we also want to see the lighter shade coming through, so don't completely obscure it. I'm going to go down the edge as well, a little bit round the eye, a couple there but not too many, because we want that bit to be lighter. And then I'm going to outline the eye a little bit, so a little bit round the eye. Broken lines, I'm not doing any continuous lines again. And a little bit in the eyelashes. Then again, I'm going to come down here, this bit was really quite dark when we shaded it with our pencil, so I'm going to have my lines quite close together here to get it looking dark. And then as we come out, slightly less lines. Can you see how that works? Okay. And then again, right under the chin, we want that quite dark. So I'm working it with my lines again quite close together, making it a bit darker down the edges. And then where it's lighter, I'm just going to put a few, but not too many. I'm going to put a darker shade of brown now, just in the middle, little dashes, and a little bit on the mouth, like that. Maybe a couple of dark ones as well. On his whiskers. Okay, so that's the medium one. Now I'm going to go really dark. Okay, so this is my darkest brown. So I'm going to be quite sparing with how I use this one. So I'm really going to concentrate on those dark areas. So the base of the ear, just a little bit in the middle of his head. Again, the base of the ear. If you can hear my dog in the background, that's just the dog barking at the postman. Just try and ignore him. Hopefully he'll stop in a minute. So really dark round his eye. Like that. And a few little bits in this dark patch either side of his nose. And then down his face. Here we go. Down his face like that. I'm going to put a few little bits of dark in his ears as well. Not too much. Just a little bit. And then it links it all together. Okay. And then again, under his chin. And down the edges. Like that. I'm going to put a little bit as well. Remember when we drew our sort of nose middle section? I'm just going to outline that just a little bit. A broken line though, not a continuous line. Just to bring that out a little bit more. Right, let's have a little look. A couple of dots maybe, and then really dark now, right in the middle of his nose, down, and right in the middle of his mouth. Like that. So it starts off really dark in the middle, and then as it goes out, it gets a little bit lighter. So I think that's probably enough for our felt tips. What we'll do now is we will add our water. Oh, actually, no, I've forgotten. We're going to do our black. We want to make our eyes a bit darker, so I nearly forgot that. So yeah, so we need our black felt tip. So what we'll do, we'll get our black felt tip back, and we're going to just work over those eyes because we've lost them a little bit with just them being shaded in pencil. We want to make them a bit darker. So really nice and dark. Don't colour in your lovely white highlights, and we're just going to outline that white edge. So hopefully you've still got that lovely white edge. Nice dark black eye, and the same on this side. Okay, lovely. Well, I've got the black. I might put a little bit of black in his eyelashes as well. Okay, make that bit. There we go. So I think we're pretty much there. So it is time for our water. So grab your water and your paintbrush or whatever you've got to hand, and we're going to start blending these colours in now. So I'm going to just start in the middle, I think. I'm just going to work that water over the top, and you can see they're all blending in, and we're getting rid of that really glaring white background. I'm going to drag those colours down. So this middle bit has got a little bit of colour on it, but still stays really, really white. So I'm going to drag that down. There we go. At the edges, you can drag it out a little bit if you want to. Try and get a little bit of a fluffy edge going as well. Okay, with his nose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and drag, because we put quite a lot of ink on his nose, so I'm going to drag it up. So with my brush, I'm dragging it up, like that, dragging that ink up, just to give him a bit more of a colour on his nose. And then we're going to take it down the middle bit, and then over the top, and then again I'm going to drag it down underneath his mouth, just to give a bit of shading under his mouth. Okay, just wash my brush, and then we'll carry on just putting a little bit of water just on his chin. Okay, so mine, because it's upright, it might be bleeding down a bit. Yours obviously will be flat, so you shouldn't get that effect. You shouldn't have that problem. Right, so we've got the middle bit. Now we're going to work the ears. So again, I'm dragging, I'm starting with the darkest bit, and I'm dragging it up the ear. So that dark sort of blends upwards. Okay, and on this side, so dragging it up like this. Again, if you want to sort of soften the edges a little bit with your brush, just sort of flick out, make him look a bit fluffy. And then just with water, I'm just going to drag a little bit of this ink into the ear, just to give the inside of the ear a little bit of colour. There we go. Alright. We'll do the same with the other side. So again, we start from the bottom, dragging that ink up the ear, like that. Because we want to go from dark to light. So the tips of the ears are lighter than the base of the ears, like this. Okay, so little flicky lines. And then we'll do the inside of the ear. If your water's really watery, you just try and pick up a bit of ink from where you've got some dark patches, like that, and then you can bring some colour up into your ears. There we go. Right, so I'm going to now just work down exactly the same technique. We're going to work down the face, blending that in. It's amazing how effective it is just with felt tips. So blending all those colours together. You can still see your lovely line work, but you've just got this nice mix of tones. So soften the edges again with your little brush strokes, and then under the chin again, blending that all together nicely. Here we go. So no, I've done the outside first. I haven't gone to my black yet because I don't want to get black on my brush just yet. So we're going to do the black eyes last. So give my brush a little wash. If you've got excess water, just wipe off those drips, because you don't want drippy bits of black anywhere else. You have to be quite careful around the eyes, because you want to try and keep that nice white edge if you can. Don't worry if you've lost it, it's not a problem. Okay, so we're just going to blend all that lovely black ink together, just to make it a bit darker. And you're going to just do your eyelashes. Okay, so I think we're pretty much there. What I would say is, when it's dry, you can have a look back and see if you think you need to add any more bits and pieces, make any little bits darker, and you can do the same technique again, but you just have to make sure that it's dry. And then the last little bit, this is entirely up to you, it's optional, is we are going to do a little bit of flicking. So what I'm doing is I'm picking up a bit of ink on my brush from some of these dark areas, and dipping it once into my water, and then I'm going to do some little splats, because I do like my splats. So pick up a little bit of ink, find somewhere nice and dark, one dip in some water, and then some little spots. Okay, and there you have it. One finished rabbit. So that's our rabbit finished. I hope you enjoyed that. We would love to see your pictures, so do send them in to us, and we will see you again soon. Bye for now.